Hey guys, Bloodsorrow here. And today's vid is going to be my intro to Feral PvP guide, I guess you could say part 5. In this vid, I'm going to be covering macros. I've had a lot of questions on the videos and private messages, whether in-game or in stream also, of people asking if I could go through my macros on my Feral. There are a lot of them for a Feral Druid, but there are a number that repeat. What I mean by that is, there's the same one over and over, just with one name change or whatnot, which I'll explain at that time. And I also will post like right in the vid description the macros right there, so hopefully you just can copy and paste them into your file or your macro page and it's changed to certain words. But without me babbling too much, I'm going to just cut it off here and say sit back, relax, and enjoy the vid. Alright guys, now to stay at the beginning of this video, this vid is going to have a lot of macros in it, so I'm going to go through them pretty fast. So the easier ones, like the simple to understand macros, I'm going to give simple explanations on, and the ones that have more complex look or multiple parts to it, those are where I'm going to spend more time on. However though, I'm going to try and go through this as fast as possible, save your time, my time, and just get through all of them because there is a lot of macros. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. Now, the first thing is, though, if you have never made a macro, to open your macro screen, you're going to type /macro for macro, and it's going to open your macro page. Normally, it'll bring you just onto your general macros tab up here, but I would highly suggest on using your, whatever your tune name, it'll pop up right there, specific macros. Make sure you're using the specific ones because you don't want to use up your general macro space on just like one tune, because that's usable on all your tunes, and these only show up when you're logged in on this too. Alright, now the first one I'm going to talk about is these three, which is A1, A2, and A3, and these are my CC arena macros. Often when I'm PvPing, or arenaing I should say, people ask me, oh, you play your Feral really good, or oh, you're doing this really good. What do you do with this? Like, how would you... My burst is the exact same as every other Feral Druid. The only reason that, or only tip I've given people that I'm better off with my Druid than some people are on their alt Druids is because of the simple fact that I am a CC fanatic. I try and CC as much as possible, and these three macros make it ridiculously easy. Now, I'm only going to post one of these in the vid description because, as you see, it's literally the exact same macro, just changing Arena 1 to Arena 2 to Arena 3 for each individual macro. Now, what does this macro do, you're probably asking? This is not a new macro. I didn't come up with this. I believe Swifty has used this in a video on his Druid Ragu Salsa, and then it was on, I think, Arena Junkie, Skill Capped. It's a well-known macro. What this does is, when I hit this keybind, which for me, Arena 1 is just number 10, if I was to just hit this keybind, it's going to /cast target equals Arena 1, nomod, cyclone. What that actually means is without any modifiers, meaning without holding shift or control or even alt if you set that as one, it will cyclone Arena 1 target, meaning this one right here. If you run Gladius, this is obviously, well, this will show you right here, but that's Arena 1, Arena 2, Arena 3. Arena 4 and Arena 5. So if you're running 5s, you could add two more macros for that. This also applies to the same Blizzard UI one that pops up like right here, I think, where it's got Arena 1, Arena 2, Arena 3. In the exact same order as what Gladius reads them as. So don't worry about that being out of order or anything. It's exactly how it is registered in your game code, I guess you could say. So with this actual add-on, if I do not hold shift and hit that keybind 10, I'm going to get a cyclone on Arena 1. If I hold shift and hit 10, I'm going to get an Entangling Root, and if I hold control, I'm going to get a Hibernate. This allows me to CC one target or multiple targets just by practicing. 10, 11, 12, and I'm using a Razor Naga, so you know those back three right there. If I just hit, okay, run up to someone and hit 10 with a Predatory Swiftness buff for the instant cast, he's cycloned. Or shift 10 and it's rooted, or control 10 and it's hibernated. I could talk about these add-ons this macro forever, but it's literally, it's very simple. It's just really, it's a lot of writing in a macro compared to some of them, but this is such a good macro. So once again, this first line, when it says nomod, is if you just hit your keybind, which for me it's 10, it will cyclone it. If I hold Shift and hit 10, it will Entangling Root, and if I hold Control and hit 10, it will Hibernate. Now, you need to be warned of something. With this macro, especially with the Blizzard standard, like, key binding, I guess you should say, make sure you do not have Shift 10, Control 10, or Alt 10. What I mean by that is, don't have those bound. Because if you already have them bound, you're not going to be able to use the modifiers for this. So whatever mods you're going to set up as, whether it's Alt or Shift or whatever, you need to make sure those binds are free for that actual bind. Meaning, I do not have Shift 10 or Control 10 bound to anything. Or whatever keybind. Say you set it as 5. Don't have Shift 5, Control 5, or Alt 5, whatever ones you're using. Because it will try and use those keybinds instead of actually the modifiers for this. I've noticed that's happened to me before. I'm like, why isn't it doing my Hibernate? And then I had Control 10, something bound ridiculous I never really used. So I went into, and to actually change that in like the Blizzard standard way of key bindings, what I normally would do is go up to something I don't use, like follow target for a keybind for that, and then bind it to something. So say Shift 10 like that, and then go click the actual bind right there, and then hit unbind. And what it does is it just clears the keybind. So now if I'm back in game, my Shift 10 works again, Control 10 as well. And as you can see, you can see the little animation of it trying to use the spell. So that's how you'll know. Alright, that was a lot of time on one macro, but really wanted to make sure you guys understood that one. It's one of my, these are my secret weapon for my Pharaoh. Okay. Now the next one, let's see if I got the right one. No. These are two different Berserk ones. One's for tanking and one's for DPSing. The tanking one is just a different Incarnation, like spell in there, because one's different for Baron, one's different for Tiger. But for this one here, this is my like main cooldowns, my going burst, my going ham, or my popping swifty macro. Now, the reason I show number show tooltip Berserk is because it will show the spell cooldown and spell readout if I scroll over it. It's so it doesn't just have a random wording. Like if I scroll over this one, it just says CC. It doesn't actually read out what the spell is. Okay, so that's number or pound or hashtag, whichever word you want to use for it. Show tooltip, Berserk. And then I have /cast Tiger's Fury, because when you pop Berserk, you cannot use Tiger's Fury while in Berserk. So, to get the most out of your damage, you should pop Tiger's Fury first to get number one, the increased damage output and the extra energy back. If you like starve yourself of energy and then pop this with the Berserk, you're going to do a lot of damage. The next cast is Incarnation, King of the Jungle, Talent, Shapeshift. What I do is just literally go into your spellbook and shift click the spell in, because those really long ones are really annoying. So if I wanted to just add a line in like that, I would go like this, /cast space, and shift click the spell. So that's how you just pop them right in there. Okay. The next one is, and then /cast Berserk. What this does is if I hit this keybind for it, it's going to go ahead and pop all my cools right there. Those three right there, all in one. So, number one, it looks awesome. And number two, you're about to hit like a Mack truck. So, this is just your burst macro in a sense. Alright, this next macro is kind of like the Arena 1s. As you can see, guys, it's almost identical, just without anything there. What this does is, because I noticed I got so used to using these in Arena that when I was out in normal PvP, I didn't know how to actually, like, well, I didn't know how to. I wasn't able to CC as easily and freely as I like to as in Arena. So I made this one, which is just kind of an alteration of this, which is my CC in one macro. And it's keybound to X, and then I also have, once again, Shift and Control modifiers. What this does is, if I hit just X, it will cyclone my current target, meaning Skull. If I hold Shift and hit X, it will Entangling Root my current target, and if I hold Control and hit X, it will Hibernate my target. Now, I know this is a target dummy, so it's probably not going to let me do much, but let's just see. See, it's letting me cast Cyclone Immune, and now, if I was to, oh, that's right, I changed my Shift X over there. Yeah. My Shift X, you should probably change this to, I knew I changed it like yesterday, and I didn't even remember that. Okay, so if I hit Alt X, it's going to Entangling Root. Okay. See, I just changed it like that because I actually had Shift X bound to something right here, my innervate. So there's Ravage number 1 making a mistake. Number 2, now you see exactly what I'm talking about. You need to make sure you have those modifiers unbound because that will happen all day. You're gonna be like, why wasn't I Entangling Rooting? So I just changed it to Alt because I didn't have Alt X bound to anything. And as you see, if you actually see with this macro, as I hit the modifiers, it changes the spell readout. I don't know why Hibernate doesn't show up, but it does work. I have used it before. Yeah, and I've used it before in arenas and whatnot. Or in arenas, actually, yeah, before I had my Arena 1, 2, and 3 one. And when I've been out in PvP. So, with nothing, it will Cyclone. With Shift, it will, Alt for me, it will Entangling Root. And with Control, it would Hibernate, but it can't because it's a target. I mean, it's not a beast. So that's that. I'm probably gonna, when I copy and paste this one into the vid description, I'm gonna put it as Shift because that's what most people would be using, I guess you could say. And you can switch it out forever. Remember, you don't have to use Shift and Control. You could use Alt and Control, Alt and Shift, or whatever. It's your choice. Now this clone one was literally the exact same one. I actually could delete that because it was wrong. This next one right here is just my Dispel, and I usually use this for a healer. What I do is I have the... Why is it doing it? Okay. Number show tooltip, space remove corruption, and then slash cast bracket target equals whoever my healer is, bracket, and then remove corruption. What this does is I have 2 different binds instead of just having all in one. If I hit 7, it's going to dispel myself. If I hold Shift and hit 7 for this one right here, it will instantly dispel my Rita partner, whoever it may be. Whatever I have that name into, it will dispel that target. Now, if you're running 3s, you should have another bind for the other person as well, like another macro. So you could just copy this over and put your other arena partner, and then have a different bind all of its own on that one. So I could do Control 7 then, or Alt 7, and have a different one for my other 3s partner. So that one's pretty simple. It's just really nice to be like, if your healer gets hexed, you just run over and then spam your bind and get him real quick, and then go right back in cat form. Because when you do hit that spell, it will pop you out of form. So make sure you do go back in kitty form. Where's my phone going nuts? There we go. Next thing is my heals. These are amazing. The first two I'm going to show right now are the ones I use for my arena partners. And what this is, I do number show tooltip, Heart of the Wild, so then I can see how long the cooldown is on it, because it is a 6-man cooldown. I do slash cast Heart of the Wild, and then I also do slash cast Nature Swiftness for the instant cast, and then I do slash cast bracket target equals whoever it may be, my healer, the other DPS, bracket, healing touch. This is the same one that I use for the big heal on myself, where then I have the exact same readout, target equals, and then my own name. So put your tune name there. I think in the vid description for this one, I'm going to have this here, and instead of having my name, I'm going to put your name in bold, and then in parentheses, partner's name bracket, just so you know to put one of those 2 in there. Right? And the same thing goes for like these 2. They're the exact same. Just change the names for the partners in your group. So that's that. The next one I'm going to talk about is my interrupt / focus interrupt. This is a lot to look at, as you can see. What this literally does is it has the readout of Skull Bash for the spell readout and the cooldown. And then what this will actually do is, if I'm in cat form, it will Skull Bash. If I'm in bear form, it will Skull Bash. But also, it also works with my shift modifiers for focus target. As you can see, I already have X set to my focus. So if I'm hitting this guy, and I wanted to interrupt X, I can hold Shift, hit my bind, and it went and interrupted X for me real quick. And then I'm back on Skull. So if a healer makes the mistake of standing close enough to you, make him pay for doing that. Now, the reason my focus just broke is because of another macro, which I'm actually going to show right after this one, but it did it for a specific reason. So, once again, the macro for my interrupt / focus interrupt, when I put it down there, It's a lot, but just copy and paste it in, and then if you have that bind free, so mine is bound to Q, so when I hold shift and hit Q, it will interrupt my focus target. If I just hit Q, it will interrupt my current target. Now, as you saw earlier, that it cleared my focus. Why did it do that? That came down to this macro right here. This is my all-in-one Ravage macro, and this is an amazing macro. I really do love it, and I actually got this from Breckful on his Pharaoh Wu Stakes clan. I was watching a stream, he showed it real quick, and it's been my best friend ever since. Now, what this does is, I just have number show tooltip here, so it will show the tooltip of whatever spell is about to be used. And what this does is, slash cast, when you're in stealth, it'll Ravage. When you're out of stealth and you have a free Ravage available, whether it's the one from your set bonus or Incarnation, it will use Ravages again. And then if you are out of stealth and you can't use either one of those Ravages, it will shred. So this will use the highest damaging spell whenever it can, and then it'll use the next best thing. So it's like a smart system in a sense. I never have to worry about hitting a different bind for shred and Ravage. So I could just be back here spamming. Right now, it is shredding. And then if I pop Incarnation, it'll open up as Ravage. See how it switched to Ravage, and now it's spamming Ravage. So, that's how that goes. Now the last line of that is one of my favorite things. I saw a streamer, I believe his name is Vive, who's a, I think he's a BlizzCon winner, like worldwide winner, on a Hunter. Or no, I think he got his Warlock, but yeah, I was watching him on his Hunter, and I saw on his macros, like, I think it was on Arcane Shot, a spell you spam a lot in Arena, he had slash focus, Arena 1, 2, or 3, depending on what he was facing. Have you guys ever been in Arena and you set a focus Arena on, say, a Disc Priest, or a Mage, or a Hunter, and then they feign Death, or Spectral Guys, or Mirror Image, and it clears your focus? It's really annoying. With this macro, as I'm spamming it in Arena, it will keep setting that as my focus Arena. So, say there's a Disc Priest Arena 1, and I'm spamming Ravage, and he comes out and Spectral Guises at one point to like try and get a fear on my healer and comes out. As I'm hitting this, it will then refocus him as soon as he comes out, as I'm spamming this keybind, this macro. So that is an amazing thing, which I've never really thought about, but now that I've seen it, I use it on multiple tunes. All my tunes have at least 1 to 2 spammable spells I'm using, where it's just macroed in there, where it's slash focus, whatever arena frame I'm going to be using. But, however, take note of this. When you are in an arena match, right at the gates, waiting for it to start, take note of who you would want to have your focus target set to, whether it's a healer, a spellcaster, DPS, a hunter, whatever it might be. Notice that's either Arena 1, 2, or 3, and then open your macro page, change it in there, whether it's 2, 3, 1, and then hit save and close it, and it will be all set up for you. But then remember, you have to change this every match. I've done it before where I forgot to change it, and I've actually changed it mid-arena before, like as we were fighting, which that's a no-no. I shouldn't have to do that, but it's that important and that really strong for you to use. Because if you don't, if you just have it as slash focus arena, without a number there, it will clear your focus over and over and over because it doesn't know what it's trying to focus. So make sure you do have that set up properly. The next one, this one's out of date and old, so I don't need that one anymore. And then this one I don't need as well. This is my all-in-one stealth macro. This does a lot of things. Number one, it will get you out of flight form. If I'm in flight form and I hit this keybind, it will put me in out of cat form, or I'm sorry, out of flight form, put me into cat form and stealth me instantly. Also, there's another part to it, which I'll show that in a second. So I can hit this and it'll instantly put me cat form, and then if I hit it again, it'll stealth. Like if you're spamming trying to get in your stealth, you'll go ahead and go into stealth. Like this is an all-in-one spammable stealth macro. Also, it is, as you can see there, it won't pop me out of Prowl. With this exclamation point here, it will just keep you in stealth, or it won't break you out of it. Now this next part here, where as you can see right here, it shows Pounce. What it does is, it actually switches from, once I'm in Prowl or in Incarnation, it will allow me to Pounce. This is a all-in-one break fight form, go into cat form, then go into stealth, and it will change to pounce, all in the correct order. So it's like a spammable spell. So I use this keybind for like everything. It's keybound to E, so I'm gonna come out and I know I gotta wait like 8 seconds or whatever. As you can see, it's showing up as Prowl right now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna like slowly kind of creep up, I guess you could say, to Skull, and I'm gonna just spam my keybind. The RP walk. And I'm gonna open up with Pounce. Now watch, I'm just spamming one button. Okay, let's get out of that now. That's literally exactly what it does. It is all in one. This will be one of your guys' favorite macros. It saves you a bunch of different binds, and it's a stealth guarantee. What that means is it won't pop you out stealth. Like if you're spamming to get in stealth, it won't instantly bring you out. That's what that exclamation point does. The next macro I'm going to talk about is my Berserk, and what this does is it will slash cast my Berserk and then use a health stone. Health stones heal you based on your percent health. So when you pop out Might of Berserk, you get a bigger health pool increase. The health stone will then heal you for more. So that's just a simple macro. It's all in one at that point. I kind of use the same one for Fortifying Brew on my Windwalker and Mistweaver, I guess you could say, where it also pops a Battlemaster Trinket and then will consume a health stone as well. Now this last one is a power shift macro. And what this does is, it will, when I hit this keybind, is you're not really going to see much. It will make just like a puff of smoke. Now what that literally did was, in a sense, shift me out of form and put me right back in cat form. As you see, my mana is going down. Now see, there you actually saw, I don't know why sometimes it'll be, oh, it's probably it was off the global, or it was still in the global. Because every time you do power shift, it does use your global cooldown, as you can see. See how I am losing mana though? It's because it is putting me in and out of form. Now, you might be being like, Ravage, why the hell would you ever do that? Very simple. This is used to break roots, slows, and all that good stuff. So when a mage puts you in a Frost Nova, you hit that keybind, boom, you're out of form and back in, and you're back on him at full speed. A lot of times, if you time it perfectly, like a lot of time I'll see a mage will do cast Frostbomb onto me, or whatever. Usually Frostbomb is the easiest way for me to know, and then I know he's gonna root me at the last like second to do it, and I will have my finger right over that, and as soon as I see that animation for the Frostbomb, I'll hit it. And I'll hit it like once or twice just to make sure, because if I break the root on it and it doesn't get the root effect on the detonate, it's not going to do anywhere near as much damage. So this is your power shift macro. You'll hear a lot of ferals, whether it's streamers, whatnot, they will use this macro. They'll be in and out of form really quick. It's much more efficient than hitting a specific bind just for cat form, because if you hit it one too many times, you're going to pop out of form again. Like, it's just kind of annoying. Now, fair warning though, this macro does actually do a certain kind of spell thing, so if you are spamming it, as you saw, it will pop me in and out like that if you're doing it before the global's up. Now, what can happen is you can get stunned, feared, or CC'd mid keybind or macro like readout, where you will be out of form. Like you will be, as you saw with me and Worgen right there, I could be caught in a fear like this, and then you know what, they might hard switch you because you're gonna die a little bit quicker. You're not gonna be taking the 20% extra healing from cat form, whatnot, you know. So be fair warned about that. Do not just spam this keybind, or macro I should say, just use it accordingly. So that's the power shift one. Alright guys, now that's actually going to be all the macros for me. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here, and I'll see you in the end part of the video. Alright guys, now it's going to wrap up this vid. Real quick, before I let you go, just a couple of things. First thing is, as in this macro video, I just want to say that there is a lot to it. So watch the video more than once if you need to, pause it, etc. And then I will post the ones directly in the vid description. So make sure you check there and just copy and paste them in there. And then practice these macros. Practice, practice, practice. Get used to them. whether you have to switch up your binds or you got to learn new binds, whatever you got to do. But I promise you, if you get these down and if you use them to their full potential, they will definitely make your like playtime and I guess use of your feral that much more enjoyable. I greatly enjoy them, and they have made it a lot easier for me, and I'm able to do a lot more on my druid because of it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is streaming and Twitter. I am streaming more, so if you haven't come by a stream yet, please do come by, say hello. We're usually doing BGs, arenas, or whatever with viewers and whatnot. Also, follow on the Twitter page because that's the easiest way to know what's going on for me, because I will post on there when I'm uploading a video, when I am going to be streaming, done streaming, and important news and giveaways as well. So make sure you follow there. I'll put links to both of those in the video description as well. And the last thing is, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please like, favorite, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And this is Bloodsorrow saying thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the BGs.